Hello, hello. Welcome to Open Mic, guys. Thank you for joining us. I am Michelle Posey, and of course, we have the beautiful
Allie Leger from my home studio today. It's the first day of school, you guys. So with three littles and one, he's a senior this year. Lord help him.
It's so exciting. There's some fun stuff in the works for your eldest. It's like making that turning point from like, you know, high school student to, is it college? Is it workforce? Like, what does it look like? It's so exciting, right, Mom?
I think he's just not sure. So he's got his hands in a little bit of everything. And actually, if college is the way, then that's where it goes. If not, he's got a backup plan, and then he's got a backup plan to the backup plan. So I think we've raced him pretty well. So,
That's awesome. You've done a great job. You guys have done a great job. Welcome to Open Mic, guys. I know this morning's probably been hectic for a lot of people rushing to get those kids off to school across the nation. I think there's some states that started a little earlier, but we're glad that you joined us. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe on whatever platform that you're watching us on. Is that way you'll get the updates. For example, if you're watching us on Rumble, you just click that little follow button and it will allow you to get updates right as we're getting ready to come live. You can watch us from anywhere. Thank you for our audience on Spotify. Listen, if I was stuck in traffic, this is what I would want to be tuning into.
especially today. I mean, today heats up. Like, we're talking about the DC curfew, Trump bombshells, and power exposed. Guys, there's so much that we need to talk about. So keep it right here as we open the mic.
Taking back our freedom, back to where we started. We're wearing our red hat tonight. It takes more than just a feeling. Oh, better be believing, and America's gonna be home.
What do you do? They try to cancel you. MAGA Nation, we cancel proof. My red hat stays on. My red hat stays on. You know I love Gabbard and Trump. I trust November 5th. You gon' ride with us? Our red hat stays on. Our red hat stays on. It's the mayor MAGA, the RNC King. 2024 freedom gon' ring. This the red, white, and blue. I'm still fighting for each one of you. And keep your red hat on.
What do you do when they come for you? Freedom's what you gotta lose. Red hat.
I got to get my red hat back from my almost 18-year-old. He stole it.
So when the 18-year-old wants the red MAGA hat, you did raise him.
Stole it.
Take the dark MAGA one too, or no? Just
No, I have dark MAGA. He probably would take it, honestly. If I
mom's got
was like, I got that at the inauguration. I need my hat back. He's like, no. Okay, fine.
He knows mom's got the inside scoop to be able to get another one. So
He was like, you've been to the White House and you took Zoe. You didn't take me. I was like, this because you're not a girl in sports. It would be different.
and because you're a boy and you know which restroom to use. I'm sorry, it's not. I love it. I love you, Allie. Gosh, we had fun this weekend. Guys, every once in a while, you just need to take your work bestie and your bestie. And if they're the same person like it is me, then okay. And just like cleanse the palate, right? Just like it wasn't work. It was all about just having fun. And yeah.
I think it's important for women in positions that we're in to have a good close circle of other women that are kind of in the same boat. We all realize that we are actual tip of the spears in our circle of influence. Like, we really are. We are the ones bearing the brunt of all the things in our lives. And it's good to come together and have some fellowship and pray and cry and laugh and joke.
And all within the same hour. I would
Right.
pray, laugh, cry. And then we came back to
It was fun. It was a lot of fun.
It was good. Well, guys, we've got a lot in store for you, as Allie alluded to in our opening.
All gas, no breaks. Let's go.
All gas, no breaks. But we are also monitoring. There is supposed to be a press conference, the White House press conference here shortly. So we'll keep monitoring that. There is going to be an announcement coming out. I know Trump alluded to that. But let's first start, Allie. I think this has something to do with what he's going to be talking about. And that is the curfew that was in a place for juveniles in D.C. Over the weekend. I think it's extended for the next couple days. I had no idea until we visited kind of how, I guess how awful that every big city tends to have their issues, right? But DC not only has issues, but then they're crippled with kind of what they can do about it because they're not a state, right? So it's like, who ultimately, if the mayor can't get it under control or the police chief can't get it under control, then where does that go? Because you have
Congress.
dignitaries. Yeah. You have a lot of people in DC trying to make business happen, right?
Yeah, I mean, it rightfully so. Like, they changed it, I believe, a few years ago. They changed it from Congress, like making sure that DC was taking care of federalization, to home rule. But apparently, home rule nobody knows what they're doing. I mean, they may be great people, but at the end of the day, it's lawlessness that is occurring in DC, in our beautiful capital. It's almost impossible, not impossible, but it's a little difficult to really enjoy the city outside of, like, the congressional building without, seeing crime or feeling like you're, a victim of some kind. It's just, it's wild.
You and I, when we were there for the inauguration and a few other times, we only walked around like a 2-block radius during the day once in a while. And then I don't care if we only had a block or 2 to go, we would always have a driver because it's
the homelessness is insane. And then they're belligerent homeless. Like, it's not like they're homeless, like sleep in the street, leave them alone. It's like you walk by and you're afraid you're going to get grabbed. Like, that's how. And then don't wear heels, don't look cute. Like, it's a bit. It's a bit scary. Right. No, definitely don't do that. I mean, you probably can now. You probably can now, but and we definitely did, but it was a little weird. So I'm glad that they're trying to clean it up. That's for sure.
Yeah, this is the post that Trump made the other day, just saying that there's some details about the press conference. Take a look at what he posted. The press conference will be on crime and beautification of DC. So I think he's going to talk about what he plans to do to clean up DC. And really, this is, whether you're talking about protecting our national monuments, talking about protecting the public transit systems. Let's not even talk about schools and some of the other outlying areas there in DC. This is in the best interest. This is America First policy, right? If we're going to have a capital where business is being conducted, we need to feel like we're safe visiting that. And Allie, I alluded last week to the thought that maybe this is happening in build up to next year, which is America 250. We celebrate
1,000%
50th birthday. Yeah.
You can't have hundreds of thousands of people coming to visit your coveted city, your capital of the United States, and it looks like garbage. It looks like a third world country. You can't do that. So, and unlike Gavin Newsom, who was able to clean up the streets of Los Angeles in the matter of 3 days, to have a foreign dignitary president come visit the city, President Trump is actually taking actions into his own hands because the people that were put in place to do that have been derelict in their duties. So he's taking over, and he's going to make the United States Capitol the best it's ever been. And we will be welcoming in the golden era in DC, where we will be celebrating America's 250th anniversary. Absolutely.
Absolutely. And, they have found, we reported on this last week, they have found that there has been corruption within some of the higher levels of the DC police. There has been suspension served. So let's hope that it is, as they're cleaning up the streets, they're cleaning house as well. And I love how Trump put this in this post that he made. He's alluding to the same thing. Like they might be good people. The mayor, I know that he does not see eye to eye with the mayor of DC, but might be a good person, right? But just if you're not getting the job done, then it's time for him to step in. And I'm grateful that he doesn't wait till something catastrophic happens. We know we've seen an uptick in anti-Semitism in some of the violence that's happened. Plus you've had, just recently a former Doge employee that was accosted for stepping in during a carjacking. I mean, I'm grateful to see this done.
Yeah, me too. It's going to be good. I can't wait. I mean, you're going to have hundreds of thousands of people there and their families and young children. And you can't have that elevated level of danger that currently exists right now. So
absolutely. There was a post out over the weekend. I think we might be frozen. There's a post out over the weekend that the Department of Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy made. We've had a lot of issues with air traffic control and realizing how short-staffed they are, how under budget they are. I think because we had a lack of leadership under the Biden administration, they just weren't paying attention to things. We're more worried about what bathroom the employees were using than we were how the infrastructure is built. Take a look at what Department of Transportation's Secretary Sean Duffy posted. He said they were using foil. Look at that picture. They were using foil to make connections in some of the machinery. Allie, I don't like to fly, but
look.
But if you're using duct tape or foil, I'm not boarding. It's not, I don't care if it's in the tower or
This should piss everybody off. Like, seriously, like, happy freaking Monday morning. Like, this is what we found out about our air traffic control right now. Is that seriously, in the age of 2025, it looks like a scene from 1986. What are we doing?
Allie, I want all of our viewers right now to stop and think about what you have in your house or vehicle that has either duct tape
or aluminum foil to make it work.
What are those things? The
zip ties?
Thank you. Zip ties.
Are you going to zip tie your engine into your car to make it work? Are you going to add the aluminum foil to the tips of the wires and connect them together to make sure that your computer is connected to your engine that's connected to your car? Is that how you're going to do that? No. This is ridiculous.
Well, but if you do, you know that you don't leave it that way for too long. Now, how do you feel that you're boarding, now that you know you're boarding that
Wait,
aircraft?
You don't leave it like that at all, period. Not too long. I mean, I can understand maybe a little bit of duct tape on your bumper for that one time that you accidentally, you know what I'm saying? I get it.
Did you accidentally what, Allie?
I get it. But listen, you cannot, no, I would not have full confidence that my car would get me 5 minutes up the street, a minute, 1.2 blocks.
1.2 blocks. Yeah, so I don't feel comfortable going up 30,000.
Oh my gosh.
With an antenna that says, that for communication, and there's foil there.
Well, so and there's a lot of people that think that we're just seeing a lot more air traffic, good Lord, like accidents. Right. But we're really not. What's happening is that it's just being recorded. It's like being more focused on in the news media now that they're not using fabricated evidence to talk about news anymore.
Go figure.
But it's just, this is the kind of materials that they're operating with, and that needs to change. So I'm very glad that we have the new transparency. Oh my gosh. Can I speak today? Yeah, find words.
Well, and Allie, what you're alluding to, of course, is the spending bill, the one big, beautiful bill. So what they've done is they've cut out a portion of the budget to try to enhance. Now let's work on infrastructure. Remember, Biden was the one who had this large infrastructure spending bill, including trying to help get wireless, not wireless. Oh my gosh, look at me going back to 1999, trying to get internet accessible to all areas of the country. And none of it was ever done. It was, the money's not there, but none of the infrastructure was ever set. So,
where did all the money go?
Exactly. I think we know. But so this is going to be remedied, part of the one big beautiful bill spending. So don't be afraid to board that aircraft. Help is coming. Although I'm going to need at least a shot. And now I'm not talking about one of these shots. I'm going to just knock me out. And I'm not a drinker. But anyway, Allie, moving on. I love it. We haven't heard much from the vice president, JD Vance. Here I become a fan. And then he doesn't go out and do a lot of interviews
because he's busy.
I was going through JD Vance withdrawals until you sent this to me, and I was like, oh, look, there's JD Vance. So he is talking about the conflict that we're having now across the nation with realizing, Allie, how they've been using illegals in the census numbers, which then gives these states that allow sanctuary cities, it gives them more congressional seats in the House. Take a listen, then we'll talk about it.
And the other thing that we talked about, and I didn't even realize this, Maria, until a couple of years ago, that, for apportioning representatives, you actually count illegal aliens. So even though illegal aliens theoretically are not supposed to vote, we know sometimes they do, you still count illegal aliens for congressional apportionment. So California has way more House seats than it should because they have such a high population of illegal aliens. So they get rewarded for welcoming illegal aliens into their state, giving them federal benefits, actually asking the taxpayers of states like Ohio to subsidize them. And then those same taxpayers in Ohio and Indiana and elsewhere, they have fewer congressional representatives because of what California has allowed to happen. That's ridiculously unfair. And the only real way to fight back against it is for us to redistrict in some ways as aggressively as these hard blue states have done.
Wow. So I kind of want to run down a couple of stats for our audience so that they can actually comprehend this. Seeing it written down like this, really just puts it in a bigger perspective for me. And I'm just like, wow, this is crazy. Okay. So listen, California is 38% Republican, but only holds 9 of 52 seats. Illinois is 44% Republican and only holds 3 of the 17 seats. That's 17%. New York, 43% Republican, only holds 7 of 26 seats. Then you go to New Jersey. New Jersey has 46% Republican and only 3 of 12 seats. And Ohio is 41% Republican and only holds 1 of 6 seats. Guys,
Ooh, Allie,
they are hypocritical. When they are talking about our democracy is in danger, our democracy is at risk. It's a threat. What they're saying is it is a threat to our political power. That's what they're saying. So use that as
so
perspective.
True.
That is
so
crazy.
True, Allie.
Those stats are insane.
And I'm glad that you brought the numbers, because sometimes this gets into some kind of a heated debate about illegal immigrants. And really, you can take how you feel about about immigration in general, and you just put that, you can park it to the side. You can take your feelings and get out your feels and just move that off to the side. We're talking about a census that brings resources, funding, talk about education systems. And that's where I believe you'll really see, obviously the congressional seats, you see how much it's abused. But when you think about our school systems and the amount of money, even here in Florida, that's going to our schools to help with the influx of having people who English is not their primary language, it's hard because now these young people have been brought here to this country illegally. Now we have to fund the resources to help them. It's really straining the system. And I think that's why they've said that they want to keep these numbers of illegals in the census, because the states, it's only fair, right? They need the financing to be able, don't be a sanctuary state if you can't afford it. What's the first thing we do in our households, ladies? If we can't afford something, you cut it out the budget. Like, you don't just continue to, unless it's a cute blazer, and then you just say, oh, well.
Well, then what people aren't paying attention to is exactly what JD Vance, our vice president, said. Is like, when you do this, you're forcing the rest of the nation to subsidize your state.
Yes.
That is crazy to me. That doesn't make any sense. I mean, it makes sense if you're politically corrupt and you're trying to money launder. I mean, sure. Yeah, it makes sense.
And he talks here about, he used the word aggressive and Republican in the same sentence. And I was like, oh, I don't think
are there any
people understand.
I'm waiting.
I'm waiting. Should we play the Jeopardy music?
Where are they at? I think there's only like maybe 2.
Yeah. But I want to commend them for doing what they do when they are trying to be more aggressive. Thank you, Governor Abbott, which we'll get to more details on that in a minute. Thank you, Governor DeSantis. There were, I think, 3 other states that have jumped on to try to take a look at this. We believe in you. We support you. We will support you by doing this great measure. So I'm hopeful that we see this happen throughout the nation. Do you remember, Allie, rewind, I don't know, 3 weeks ago? Turning Point USA Student Action Summit. We got the pleasure of interviewing James Fishback, who we were both really respectful. I just had so much respect for him after listening to him talk about a topic that can go over many of our heads. When we start talking about the Federal Reserve, we start talking about interest rates, mortgage rates, and how they're set, and how even the Federal Reserve was formed. How do people attain their position there? This is something that, like, my eyes glaze over. Like, I'm checking.
Yep, and it's almost like a different language being spoken. Yeah, I agree. I'm like, wait, what?
He makes it so simple and so easy. James Fishback obviously has been out front and center. He is the CEO of Invest Azoria. He's explaining this to the middle class families of what's been taking place, the abuse that's happening at our Federal Reserve. We got 2 clips. I want to play this first one and then get your response, Allie.
Jerome Powell seems to think that there is a secrecy clause of Article 7 of the U.S. Constitution. I got to tell you, we're coming up on 250 years since our brave founding fathers set this bold experiment into motion. And they are rolling over in their graves at the idea, Drew, that a group of secret bankers is meeting behind closed doors, completely unaccountable, out of view of you, me, and folks all across Florida, our home state, and all across this country. They're setting interest rates, Drew, that affect every single mortgage, credit card, small business loan that you can imagine. And it turns out they met last week. We won't know the extent of those deliberations, what was said in that meeting. Get this, not for 6 months, not for a year, but for 5 years. It won't be until January 2031 that the Fed discloses the full transcript of last week's meeting. That meeting, by the way, had the most dissenting votes against the Fed chair since 1993. And then to add insult to injury, a third Fed governor resigned abruptly in disgrace on Friday, creating this vacancy for the president to pick the patriot known as Steve Moran to fill that temporarily. And so if Powell's own board doesn't have confidence in him, why should we?
Ooh.
I agree with that. I agree 100%. If the board does not have confidence in the Fed chair, why, one, is he still Fed chair? Two, why is he still in the position that he is currently in? And three, why should the American people trust him?
Absolutely. Trust is something that we don't use freely when it comes to our government and bureaucracy, because we do have sort of a healthy mistrust. But I love what he's saying here is that, there is no quote unquote secrecy clause in our Constitution, that we elect people to represent us and then somehow they know better than us, or even unelected, appointed, just self-governing kind of bureaucrat that somehow we're supposed to blindly trust and that you can keep it held in secrecy. Our founding fathers had a really vivid blueprint of how government was supposed to operate of, by, and for the people. We jumped the pond, to escape kind of the tyranny we were under, to lay this founding fathers, framework. And I love what he's saying here. Let's think about this, America. Is this really the American way? Is this really should it be a part of our constitutional republic? And I think we have to examine it.
No, I don't think there really needs to be much examining. No, this is not how our Constitution operates. No, there is no such thing as secrecy in our government unless you need a security clearance, and you don't need a security clearance or a top secret security clearance in order for you to manage the federal taxes and the federal dollar and the federal, you know what I'm saying? Like that Department of Money. I just no. And we shouldn't have to wait 5 years in order for us to figure out what the hell you talked about 2 weeks ago. That doesn't make any sense. 5 years in the future, we're going to learn about what y'all talked about 2 years ago? No. Or 2 weeks ago? I don't think so. That needs to be made public. Those meetings need to be made public, just like we have our congressional meetings made public. There's nothing behind closed doors. No.
Absolutely. They should be on the record. And Allie, if I'm talking, so to you and to our viewers, guys, if I was to say, okay, within bureaucracies, 3-letter agencies, what one name in the last 6 years, 10 years would you throw out at me to say, if I was looking at the epitome of corruption and abuse of power? I'm talking like all the 3-letter agencies like NIH. Who comes to mind? Frankenstein.
I'm just the DOJ.
Yeah. Oh, DOJ too. Yes. I guess.
But Fauci for sure. Absolutely Fauci. But this is the problem. You can't say that because all of the names are like popping up in my head. I'm like the DEA, the DOJ, the CIA, the FBI. Like it's like all of them.
Hey, lady.
I was just gonna put gov, just that government.
D, all of the above. Have you ever?
All of the above. All of the above.
Here's another clip of Jerome Powell of James Fishback making the correlation between a Jerome Powell at the head of the feds to Anthony Fauci and being the Anthony Fauci of economics. Take a listen.
Jerome Powell is the Anthony Fauci of economics. He is wrong, smug, and completely unaccountable. As EJ said, this guy has too many failures to count. The most recent of which is he was too late to raise rates in response to the Biden-Harris inflation. It was President Trump in the summer of 2021 who was telling Jay Powell, inflation is here, raise those darn rates already, and he didn't. And of course, now that President Trump has completely defeated inflation, Jerome Powell won't do the right thing. The right thing, Kevin, is lower rates so folks can get mortgages all over this country. I meet families across my home state of Florida who have done everything right. They've saved up, worked hard, played by the rules. They can't get a mortgage because rates are too high. That is at the feet of Jerome Powell. He has to fix that.
A lot of people think he's going to be out. We'll see if something happens in September. Gents, thank you so much. I really appreciate you joining us on a Friday.
We'll bring it back, Krista. So I'm trying to figure out what he's talking about in September. What is going to be passed in September, or at least negotiated or talked about. It's going to be another continued resolution, you guys, to keep the government open. That is what this reporter is speaking about on this news channel, and what he is alluding to. There are a lot of congressional members that will not vote for a continuing resolution, and they need to prepare on whether or not how they're going to spin closing the government down, because the Democrats are going to use this to their advantage, and they're going to say, oh, President Trump's administration is shutting down the government. Well, maybe if all of you were actually doing your job and weren't usurping and money laundering the taxpayer dollar, and weren't having secret meetings, and you weren't weaponizing the government, maybe.
Well, Allie, listen, the same people that shut down mom and pop businesses across the nation because of a virus that had a 0.002 death rate cannot preach to me about how dangerous it is to shut down the government. The government was one of the few things they deemed, go figure, they deemed themselves essential and told you not to go to school, told you them bedside, and
or go to work,
that you couldn't go to work, and then gave out taxpayer money in loans that you didn't have to pay back, and they all went to some of the wealthiest.
But not to America. They sent it all overseas.
Or businesses that did not. Let's be honest, they had enough in their reserves, a lot of them, to sustain. They didn't go to mom and pop businesses; those closed for good.
That part.
Yeah, she said that part. Allie, I want to encourage our viewers to make sure that they comment on wherever they're viewing us from. We are keeping an eye. I want to say thanks to Mike, who's obviously tuning in on Facebook, one of our regulars who chime in. We love you, Mike. Guys, make sure that you keep it locked here to Open Mic. We're going to be right back right after this commercial break.
Gold IRA companies are a dime a dozen, especially in conservative media. We vetted out 34 companies and chose Augusta Precious Metals.
With the lowest across-the-board spreads in the gold IRA industry, Augusta saves Americans thousands of dollars.
They are the only major gold IRA company that has zero complaints from their customers. Zero. None.
Augusta Precious Metals does not have commissioned sales reps, which means their goals are aligned with yours.
They were the only gold IRA company that demonstrated integrity and transparency without using gimmicks.
The informative one-on-one web conferences by Augusta Precious Metals answer all of their customers' questions before they make a move.
If you're ready to learn about protecting your wealth and retirement with gold and silver, request your free gold guide from Augusta Precious Metals today.
Visit patriot.tv/gold. That's patriot.tv/gold today.
So, you guys, thank you for coming back and joining us on Open Mic. We know that there is a press conference that is coming up here pretty shortly. I'm looking at the podium. Doesn't look like anyone's there yet.
Right.
But we do have some breaking news. There seems to be some left-wing activists who are out protesting Donald Trump trying to clean up the crime and the homelessness in D.C. First of all, who are these people? And can we bring back insane asylums? Because I don't understand the mental gymnastics and the political pretzel you have to wind yourself into in order for you to actually protest someone cleaning up the crime in your city. The fact that your mayor can't do it, your police department's hands are tied because of your restorative justice BS and your, let's defund the police kinds of issues there. But you're actually actively protesting cleaning up your own city. Do you like living in filth?
It's very interesting. And listen, Allie and I have learned firsthand that a lot of these protesters it's not organic. It's not authentic. They are heavily funded. We're hoping that the dismantling of USAID maybe takes care of some of that. But Allie, I'm with you. I can't wait to get some photos and some videos from outside. I'd love to see who's protesting that. Our wonderful Vice President JD Vance had something to say over the last few days about the Russia hoax and about the new documents being released by Tulsi Gabbard and as the DNI that really were stored as classified. They were not classified, and the truth that they tell is that people like General Michael Flynn, Roger Stone, Peter Navarro, Steve Bannon, Donald Trump were all correct in what was happening right in front of our eyes, just the use of propaganda on the American people to think that there was actually Russia collusion within our election systems, and then to tell us that our elections are secure. It's like a complete oxymoron. But I want to take a listen to JD Vance, and then we'll talk about it.
I absolutely want to see indictments, Maria. Look, of course, you've got to have the law follow the facts here. You don't just indict people to indict people. You indict people because they broke the law. But if you look at what Tulsi and Kash Patel have revealed in the last couple of weeks, I don't know how anybody can look at that and say that there wasn't aggressive violations of the law. What they basically did is they defrauded the American people in order to take Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign talking points and turn them into intelligence by defrauding the American people, defrauding the intelligence agencies, lying about what the intel said. They would take something that supported a Hillary Clinton campaign talking point, and they would overemphasize it and exaggerate it. They took anything that actually contradicted that narrative and they buried it deep. And through that, they actually laundered Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign talking points through the American intelligence services. That's a violation of the people's trust. That's a violation of what our intelligence services should be doing. And I absolutely think they broke the law. And you're going to see a lot of people get indicted for that. Here's the thing that should really bother the American people. What do you want our intelligence community to be doing? I want them to be catching bad guys. I want them to be making sure that terrorists aren't going to kill innocent American civilians. I don't want them laundering Hillary Clinton's campaign talking points into the American media and giving them this air of legitimacy. It is sick and it's disgusting. It hurt the intelligence community. It hurt the American people, and it hurt the first Trump administration. We've got to have consequences for it, or we're just going to see the same play repeated again and after again.
Bring it back, Krista. You were looking for your pom poms, right?
I got it. Thank you.
I really
Vice President.
like JD Vance. This is, you know what, Allie, for anybody that's kind of been watching this from like back when I was questionable about him being chosen as VP. Sorry, but to now, you can see this just progression of I'm almost seeing like a mentorship probably happen in the Trump White House with JD Vance, and he's amazing. But he's right. What should our intelligence community be doing?
Yeah, definitely not any of the things that they have been doing. I mean, first of all, there needs to be the repeal of the Patriot Act.
Yes, that's not
portions of that. Right. Portions of that need to go away. Our agencies, our intelligence agencies should not be spying on Americans, period. That is not what that was for. But also, I like that he mentioned that a lot of this fabricated information was weaponized and used in our media, which brings me to this point. America, we the people, need to demand the repeal of the Smith Modernization Act. Okay.
Yes.
That needs to go. So this law it's a threat, right? It completely obliterates the First Amendment. It weaponizes the press, which is not what we're supposed to have. We're not supposed to have weaponized press. You want the media to report on the law, right? On the facts, not the law, but you want them to report on the facts, not something that's fabricated or counterfeit, and then essentially laundering political talking points to our media.
I love how he said that.
I love that.
The Clinton campaign basically laundered their talking points. Well, and you're absolutely correct, Allie. The Smith-Mundt Act was something that was in place for decades that protected you and I, the American people, from our government being able to weaponize propaganda.
Yeah.
This is the same griping points that you hear about communism, you hear about Russia, you hear about China, all these areas that, people point to say, we don't want to be them. We don't want to be them. Well, Barack Obama did that to us, and he did it really under the guise of nobody reported on it. Nobody reported on it. And there were a few people, I heard whispers of it actually in the military, that people were like, hey, keep an eye on this guy. What's he doing? Now you can see, years later with the rollout of COVID and what they told you you couldn't say. When you have a government feeding you talking points through the thing that you click, or the thing that you click on your laptop, that is 1000% propaganda. Welcome to not being a democratic republic. You do not have that when you have the government telling you what to think, what to watch, what to say, and what you can't think, watch, and say. It's been happening. Go ahead.
Everyone that is watching right now, your call to action is you need to call the speaker's office. Call his office. You can find it on, I believe it's you could just type it in a search engine. I'm sure you can pull it up real quick. But so the repealing of the Smith-Mundt Modernization Act is sitting on like the desk somewhere. It has not been brought to the floor to a vote. We need someone to bring it to the floor for a vote. So this can be repealed. We need to remove the propaganda from our news media and allow our media to actually be news, right?
Absolutely.
Where they report on the facts and not propaganda.
Absolutely. The Smith-Mundt Act is actually what Barack Obama undid, is trying to, as Ali is saying, we have great congressmen and women who are trying to push this back in to be able to be implemented. What it does, Ali, is it makes people like you and I would never go work for a mainstream news organization. I get asked this sometimes, by other people that are like, hey, you should try. This is why we can't, because I cannot have somebody doing their own research, putting it on a teleprompter, telling me to read it, because you don't have that trust if you don't gain that knowledge firsthand. Without protections like this, mainstream media can continue to run away with the narrative. If you want to reach out, you heard Ali say it. I don't care if you're at work and you need to do it on your lunch hour. I don't care if you're at home watching the grandbabies. Pick up your phone and dial for Washington, D.C. Speaker Mike Johnson, area code 202-225-2777. That's 202-225-2777. You'll probably get his voicemail. Thank him for the wonderful job he's doing. Make sure you tell him you want the Smith-Mundt Act, the modernization of it, to be repealed, and then make sure you let him know the Open Mic Lady sent you. And then, I love that, Ali, that call to action. There's another, for the past, I don't know how many years, we've had lots of call to actions when it comes to medical freedom and what they tried to do to us during 2020, 2021. This is exciting news. I want you guys to take a look at this. This was reported on. I did not know, Ali, that Medicaid, which is funded by our tax dollars, Medicaid was giving incentives, not just insurance companies. I knew that. Medicaid was giving incentives to vaccinate from pediatricians. If they vaccinated a certain quota of children in their care, they got rewarded for it.
Yeah, no, they got bonuses.
How is that not full coercion?
It is coercion. It's 100% coercion, and it leads to denial of care. It leads to discrimination. And this cannot occur anymore. We cannot allow our private or even our public medical facilities to be coerced, or to coerce their patients, or to, give them the ability to deny care of their patients because the vaccination incentives are the way that they're making their money. This is absolutely not okay. If you are actually patient first, it'll be better. Your patients will come back, right? Yes. Because it will be like a lifelong, like a family line. I remember when I was little, we would go to our local facility, and it was, Dr. Riccardi. Dr. Riccardi, he treated my mom, he treated me, he treated my son when he was born, met him for the first time. I mean, and like, it's just, he was a family practitioner, and he didn't, he kind of had the vaccines, but like didn't push them on the parents. He was very old school, like let them have a fever. It's okay. It's just the body. Like he was very old school. Right. But when you have these newer doctors, and they're really only taught how to, minimize symptoms and which boxes to check if it's not in the book the right way. Right. Like this is not okay. We can't do this. We cannot have incentives that cripple our, medical facilities, our medical care.
Absolutely. So HHS has just now announced under Kennedy Jr. there that Medicaid vaccine incentives will be ending. Doctors will no longer be paid based on the number of their patients who get vaccinated, trying to put care back into healthcare. And Ali, this is, I think what's sad about this is that you end up, everybody is crying on the left about, the fear that somehow Trump's going to dismantle the country and democracy or the republic in which we live in. And then they consistently vote for policies that do exactly that. This reminds me of something that would happen in another country where they do not have, where they have maybe medical care for everybody for free. You have government-run healthcare. This was actually
socialized medicine.
Yes, this was instituted again under that wonderful Barack Obama. When he came out with Obamacare, you can keep your doctor, and everybody was always, complaining, wait a minute, this is going to revolutionize medicine in the wrong way, where it's not going to be patient-centered. It's going to be facility centered. What happened to all your mom and pop doctors? They've all been bought out by corporate medical, just like our housing market's being bought out by corporate housing. Barack Obama, again, this is why it wasn't a racial thing. The reason why people were screaming about how awful he was, it wasn't race. That was a bait and
policy.
switch.
It's not personal. It's politics. And if you're fighting, you have to fight these kinds of policies with principle. You can't. It's not personal. It's principle against policy. And if the policy does not reflect your principles, we have a problem. But we also have a problem when we have immoral people and people that lack integrity sitting in offices of positions of power, because then they don't know how to make proper decisions, especially if you can't make proper decisions within your own personal life. How the hell am I supposed to expect you to make proper good decisions in your corporate life? That doesn't make any sense. The two correlate.
They do correlate. And that brings us to our next little story here. I mean, he's a Democrat, so I didn't give him much faith that he was actually not that he was ethical. But Adam Schiff is now, he's possibly going to get in trouble. I hope they do actually follow through with this. What they're saying is now mortgage fraud. Obviously, his name is riddled throughout the Russia hoax propaganda that came out as well. But take a listen, because Donald Trump had something to say specifically about Adam Schiff, and Shifty Schiff might be in a lot of trouble. Take a listen.
You're a developer, very successful developer. How does a family afford to live in a one-bedroom apartment?
No, it looks like Adam Schiff really did a bad thing. They have him. Now, let's see what happens. It's not up to me. It's not up to, I stay out of it purposely. But it's mortgage loan fraud. It's a big deal. He defrauded banks and insurance companies and the federal government. But it's very simple. It's mortgage loan fraud. And you're right. It's a lot of people to live in a one-bedroom apartment, right? But he put it.
Okay, I'm getting news that the press conference is taking place now. Krista, can we get that up with the audio for just about a minute or so?
Red is.
We're going to see if we can get that to you guys.
Okay.
Well, while we're doing that, I just wanted to make a quick comment here. If
Look at these.
we have people on the
Baghdad
outside that are not elected representatives who get in
is
trouble for things like this
doubled up
all the
on
time. They're
Baghdad.
constantly going through litigation for
Panama
situations
City,
like this, for fraud, for
Brasilia.
embezzlement, for things of that nature, for money laundering. But for some reason, our congressional members like to use this word immunity. So the only way that you get congressional immunity is if it's protected free speech. One, it's protected speech while you're in office, right? Like you can't be held essentially accountable for the things that you say and for the things that you vote on while you are in Congress, right? Like while you are in session. But if you are actively breaking the law and committing felonies, you're committing, crime like money laundering, like this, for example, fraud, you're not protected.
Yeah, it's breaking the law.
And I don't know why we're not utilizing. I don't know why the Speaker of the House is not utilizing his toolkit and the sergeant at arms to essentially arrest these people, or the FBI, or I don't know, the DC police, or the police from the state that they're from, or whichever state they committed the crime in. Like, why are we not actively investigating these people that are allegedly committing crimes?
Right.
And not coming forward with that information? Like, I don't,
absolutely, Allie.
Because they're members of Congress and we voted for them, they're held to a lower standard than we are.
I like the idea of holding them more accountable, and we should actually get some senators and House of Representatives members to try to help us with that. I do want to go. Krista does have the press conference. Let's tune in here live.
And under Biden, it was a disaster, and nobody did anything about it. We're going to do things about it like you wouldn't
See if
believe.
we have audio.
Every American has a constitutional
right. We can bring it back, Krista, if we're not able to get audio.
Their
Thank you for
government
that, though.
in safety, and countless federal officials and employees likewise have the right to
Yeah,
carry
we're
out
not hearing it.
their
Are you hearing it on
duties
your end, Allie?
without being shot. As
Either.
you know,
Okay, so we'll monitor that, guys. Krista, just let us know if it's something that we can get back. I do want to move on because when we're talking about people that we elect and that we expect to do the right thing. So Texas lawmakers are still trying to get not only funding to those that have been ravaged by the Guadalupe River flash floods and other areas throughout Texas that are waiting on money, taxpayer money that's supposed to go to help them. They're waiting on their representatives to get back to work at the Capitol. What did they leave home for? Because Governor Abbott wanted them to vote on redistricting their congressional map. Democrats fled the state. So I just want to give everybody a quick update. Take a quick look at this. I know I've got the tech room doing 7 different things. Sorry. So they're not letting this go. Basically, Ken Paxton is saying that they might move this to the Texas Supreme Court for those that are not coming back to do their job. They're going to try to convene. Let's see if we can get this other. I think it's through the Associated Press. The other link up, Allie, because the Texas legislature is trying today, Monday. They're trying to take another swing at redistricting the vote because some Democrats have actually come back to occupy their seat. So let's hope that they can get it done.
Well, if some of them have come back, then fine. Maybe give them a second chance, I guess, since they're back. But for the others that have continued to hold off on coming back to work, I think the Texas Supreme Court should remove them. They should vote in favor, or rule, I guess you'd say, in favor of Governor Abbott's ability to remove derelict of duty representatives that refuse to do their jobs. And that leaves maybe 13 House seats up for grabs. So Republicans, if you're in
if we move to Texas, is what you're saying.
Get ready to run, y'all. I wish I could duplicate myself so I could be in almost every state and run for office because, yes,
you know what,
there aren't many people like us. So
you know what they have in Texas?
What? Cowboys?
You said it. I didn't say it. Yeah, what she's talking about is that the Texas Supreme Court could possibly expel 13 Democrats from the House. I hope every state is watching this because, as soon as the other states try to pick up and do this, I think that's actually what they're waiting on, is to see how this Texas Supreme Court rules on this and put the fear of God into the Democrats. Stay and do your job. Listen, you were elected not for it to be a cakewalk. If you don't have a spine on the Democrat side, like, what are you doing? If I was a Democrat, if I was a registered, first of all, if I was a registered Democrat, Allie would smack me. But if I was a Democrat, you should stand 10 toes down on this and say, I'm going to go vote and I'm not going to do it. This is like the kids that forfeit the game because they don't want to lose. Like, that's not okay. These are the kids. This is the participation trophy era. I'm telling you.
And they really, all they wanted was fame. It's not about doing what's right. It's about, grandstanding and being in the news cycle for 15 minutes. That's really all it is. None of them are really, it's just, you will always be judged by people that do less than you. And when you see them throw temper tantrums like this, like, they have no substance. It's all superficial.
Yeah.
There's
Allie,
no substance.
I'm told that the press conference, our audio was getting to our viewers. So I just want to go back for a moment.
Okay.
And let's take a listen to Trump.
And then they start spitting in their face. And I said, you tell them, you spit and we hit. And they get hit real hard. It's a disgusting thing. I've watched that for years, for 3-4 years. I've watched them. The police are standing, and they're told, don't do anything under any search. So and you can see they want to get at it. And they're standing there, and people are spitting in their face, and they're not allowed to do anything. But now they are allowed to do whatever the hell they want. This dire public safety crisis stems directly from the abject failures of the city's local leadership. The radical left city council adopted no cash bail. By the way, every place in the country where you have no cash bail is a disaster. That's what started the problem in New York, and they don't change it. They don't want to change it. That's what started it in Chicago. I mean, bad politicians started it, bad leadership started it, but that was the one thing that's central, no cash bail. Somebody murders somebody and they're out on no cash bail before the day is out. We're going to end that in Chicago. We're going to change the statute. I spoke with Pam and Todd and everybody. We're going to change the statute, and I'm going to have to get the Republicans to vote because the Democrats are weak on crime, totally weak on crime. They don't know why. They want to stop because they get mugged too. But we're going to change no cash bail. We're going to change the statute and get rid of some of the other things. And we'll count on the Republicans in Congress and Senate to vote. We have the majority, so we'll vote. We don't have a big majority, but we've gotten everything, including the great, big, beautiful bill. Got that done. And that's one of the greatest things that's ever happened to people in this country. They're starting to figure it out, how good it is. Biggest tax cut in history. So many things.
That is
Who
beautiful.
wants to see the real Trump and Melania do that? I mean,
It's really cute. It is really, really cute. I think there's a little bit of parody there, a little bit of fun, but it's cute. I liked it. I don't see anything wrong with
they
that.
nailed like her straight brimmed hat. That
Oh,
she
I
had.
love
Everybody
that
thought was
hat.
does. Man, she's only one of a few that can really pull that off.
Ooh-wee.
Allie, can we show what you sent me this weekend? I'm almost afraid to say this happened in Florida. Okay, we have Alligator Alcatraz, right? Where we're sending the illegals until they can
We're
be deported.
building a second one. And they're so bad.
But the Democrats were protesting Alligator Alcatraz, and they basically put themselves in a playpen? Is that what you call
Yeah,
it?
I mean, the doggy playpens that you have that are like fenced. They're chain link and they're fenced, and it's like that's what they're in. They're in like a doggy playpen.
Time out. I don't know. Like, I'm not sure. So they tried to recreate. They locked themselves in a cage to protest Alligator Alcatraz, only in Florida.
Like the prisoners that are in Alligator Alcatraz right now, are eating better than prisoners around the rest of the nation. Like there are local restaurants that are feeding them like that, and they have the option to either go back to your home country or stay here. I don't. Why? What are we protesting? I don't understand.
Well, Allie,
go find a hobby. Go find something else to do.
Find a hobby. Sarah, maybe a job. I don't know. I'm just saying my
that part. I mean, but it looks like they're all like retirees. Like you don't have something else you can do.
Well,
like you can't volunteer to read books to your local school kids, kindergartners. Like you can't do that. You can't be like an adopted grandparent on, Grandparents' Day coming up in September. You can't, I don't know, do a book bag run. Like we just started school. You're gonna protest Alligator Alcatraz that puts murderers and rapists and gangbangers and terrorists from other nations into a cage where they freaking belong.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. And I just had to bring it to you because I think everybody probably had the same reaction we did, Allie. I wanted to get to some SNL video, but I think we're going to actually, but we don't at the time. I want to get to, okay, can we do the Levi one? Like we'll see. First of all, Allie and I were out and we were sitting watching, we were watching SNL, but they didn't have the audio because obviously we were out. But we're looking and Allie, this is something big. I think when culture starts to be able to poke fun of equally Democrats, because they're kind of making fun of Joy Reid and Rachel Maddow, making fun of MSNBC. But then you remember what took place a few weeks ago with the American Eagle ad where they said that Sydney Sweeney saying she had good genes just because genes looked good on her was somehow Nazi propaganda. Okay, so they doubled down on SNL coming out with their own Levi commercial, which they're claiming it's just making fun. Take a listen.
My genes tell me I'm a man.
My genes tell me I'm a woman.
They tell me I'm relaxed.
That I'm skinny?
A child.
Yo, you don't know me, jeans.
I'm not a style. I'm not a size.
That's not me.
Introducing Levi Woes, sizeless, style neutral, gender non-conforming denim for a generation that defies labels.
What's my size? Why don't you try asking me about my accomplishments? What colors do they come in?
Colors? I'm triggered.
This color. Can you label this color?
That is the color Greb.
They not brown, but they not brown. Let's talk pockets. Pockets sold separately. Yo, who says I have hands?
They come in men's and women's?
Nah.
Do they come in person? That's why Woke's got Unifly.
180 degrees of gender nonconformity.
My teams let me decide how I go to the bathroom. Do yours?
Oh my God! Spotify,
you're dying in the studio here,
and watch this right now. Oh my goodness! Find our show on YouTube so you can see this clip because what?
The zipper that's like gender. They're like bad MC Hammer pants. Remember? So
I'm so glad we are so back, America. We are so back. When SNL becomes funny and the host is actually Dave Chappelle, we're back, y'all. We're back.
A cigarette or cigar. We were like, is that Dave Chappelle? Yeah.
We are so back. We are so back.
Guys,
I
I hate to
celebrated
say
with
it.
a shot of Casamigos because I was like,
Casamigos.
yep, that's
Yep.
great. America's back. I loved it.
That's right. Guys, we're grateful that you tuned in today to Open Mic. We got through Monday morning together. Isn't that amazing? Make sure that you follow at Real Ally Leger, at Michelle Posey, and at Open Mic Ladies on all platforms. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe, follow, and share with your family and friends. Let's just go ahead and enlarge the tent of patriots that watch this every morning. Allie, we got to sign off until they give us more time.
Yeah, I know. If you guys want us to have 2 hours, please contact us at
Somewhere JD is in my head,
contact@openmicladies.com.
like, no.
Yes, no, 2 hours. And don't forget to visit Liberty Cigars. You can use promo code OpenMic, and you'll get, I think, 10% off. So we'll see you guys soon.
That's right. Take care.
Is high, inflation's up in the sky. Red hat stays on, and I don't care how they look at me in the deepest heart of a blue city. Red hat stays on, and I know when you smile you like what you see. If you love America, you'll agree. Red hat stays on, red hat stays on.